Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull, and we got a lot to get to today, fellas. We got Mike, we got Anthony, we got Earl, we got Steve, all behind the glass. Earl's up back in his cove upstairs.
Shout out
Swag Nito.
Swag Nito, I told
Swag
you.
Nito came through with the hats, man.
I told you. I don't got the one.
I seen G. Bush get one. He hit me up. He said, I seen you was hollering. He said, G. Bush sent me. I seen you like the hat. You know what I'm saying? Not that one.
Not this one. I got
not
this
one.
one. This one. But you can show this one. Shout out to the Cleveland
like
room,
the
too.
hat. He said, if you need something, let me know.
Yeah.
I said, Swag Nito.
You see the waves
Hook
on
me
it?
up, baby.
Yeah.
And he, boom, I went to check the mailbox. He blessed me with 2 of them. So there you go. Shout out to Swag Nito.
Yeah. Hey, but you can put it back on my hat though if you want to. Shout out to the Clink Room again, man. This is
What is the Clink Room?
The Clink Room is where I get all my specified hats right here. Yeah. This one right here.
Who comes up with those designs?
These designs. This hat is called Evil Omens. So this hat was created by somebody else, just a fan. Like the fan drawings, they draw them and put them on New Era hats, and they put them on there. It's so popular that on the Clink Room, like if you want to order one, it's like a back stock. You got to order, like these are back stock hats that, they just happened to have from like 2 years ago.
Right.
But if you want one like that just came out and got approved and rendered and everything, it takes like 6 months to get them. Shout out to them. I like to.
What? I got a question I need to ask you two and all of y'all behind the glass.
All right.
Y'all been know this is year 3 of this show, which I thought about this morning. That's kind of crazy that they want to end me after 2 years. Like that's crazy. Shout out to y'all, especially y'all behind the glass. But I was talking to my mom yesterday, right? And I was explaining, like, I don't understand what would be a reason why somebody just wouldn't like me. There's nothing that I do that like people would be like, I just don't like that guy. Usually it's a reason behind it.
It's funny,
but it's like I don't understand why somebody.
Are you saying the rest of us have more unlikable things about us?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Yes, but for me, like I don't.
Probably
so
true.
I was saying that to my mother, and she said, she said there is something about you. They said she said I come off as arrogant.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's a lie. I never do that. I never come off as arrogant.
Your mom's right.
No, she's wrong. Look at this guy.
I will say.
When have I ever come off as arrogant?
Well, when you think you're better than everybody at everything. Sports-wise.
That's just what it is.
I will say this. I do agree. I think you're an extremely likable person. And maybe the most likable person here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So overall,
he definitely is.
There really is no reason to dislike you.
Well, I will tell you this.
You are cocky when it comes to sports.
This is a very easy answer. Yeah. When it comes to life in general, you're successful.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're not
I had a failed NFL career. How is that success?
You had an NFL career.
Dude, so what? That was a cup of tea.
You have a wife
4
and 2
years.
kids and a home.
Well, that's different. That's life stuff.
Watch this. I told him this is real life. This is facts. Me, Dustin, and him was talking about shoes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We was talking about shoes. We showing everybody their shoe collection.
Shout out to Dustin, man. Everybody living his life right now.
We going crazy. The shoe collection is everywhere. I'm at Tyvis, and we going in the back room showing all the shoes. God, we getting busy on it. We just texting back and forth. You ain't got these. I bet you ain't got these.
Xavier P have a huge shoe collection
back and
too?
forth, all that. And you know what I told him? I said, and Tyvis said, yeah, they just shoes. And I said, you know what, to be truthful, all I can do is show a picture of my crib, my shoes. Y'all can show pictures of your kids. So, like, that's successful. That's like you got you can go home and there's 2 kids there, right? That look like you. You can go home. Like Dustin can go to the game with his son.
Yeah.
That's what really matters. Like, so at the end of the day, you can have all this stuff. You successful in life, bro. You may not think about it like this. And some people may be like, man, that's complaint bragging. But some people, they be like, man, you tall. You're a decent looking dude. You played in the NFL. You know celebrities. You work on the Big Ten Network. You on the UCSS. You got a podcast. You have radio.
You're very successful.
You got a doggone. You got a doggone hold on national championship.
And he's a good person.
Who cares about that?
And
with a very nice family, a very nice wife.
And every time you call him, this is what I envy. Little small stuff. When you call him, he always answers.
That's true.
Like
unlike you,
unlike me. like yo, I'm like, dang, he called. I'll be trying to see if I catch him. Man, he ain't gonna answer.
I felt bad. Tyvis texted me earlier because he was going to Taco Bell.
Oh man!
And he wanted to know what to get at Taco Bell, but I didn't have my phone with me.
See, and then it was like, I'm like, dang, he answers after 2 rings every time. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, man. When you're a successful individual, people not gonna like that success. Sometimes they'll find a reason. They'll find a little small.
There's
reason.
no reason though.
But you got I would say you have the least amount of haters on the show.
I think it's McNuggets actually.
No.
You and
it's Tyvis.
McNuggets is not from the area, so there's always going to be a percentage of haters.
So of
people that are not from the area.
But he does an excellent job of masking that, though.
He does.
Like you better than you do it at a high rate.
But yeah, I don't know who's got the most haters. Probably me or Jay.
You or Jay. It's not. People hate Jason, by the way.
Yeah. Jason's got a lot of haters too.
I actually say on a per capita. Yeah. Jason's probably the highest percentage of hate.
I don't
like out of 100%, whether it's the like to not like.
Yeah.
I feel like Jason's by far the least overall liked.
But
Jason, it's the least vocal of the 3.
Jason just tell it like it is.
I think I'm definitely the most polarizing because I have the diehard fans and I have the haters. There's
you
not
and Jay
many people in
are
between
pretty
on
similar.
me. What's that?
You and Jay are pretty similar in that sense.
Yeah.
Man, come on, I got a lot of haters, bro. Listen.
You got some haters out there. Not as much as Jay.
I grew up on the internet, like you know what I'm saying, like so. Like, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all be hating. You might as well like me because I'm the only one interact with them. Bull and Jason ain't never tweeting you back.
What are you talking about? That's baloney.
Bull will actually be. Jason
really
and Jay
ain't got no chance.
Jason and Jay are never going to interact with you.
I tweet.
I just thought of something.
Back up most people.
You do answer a lot of tweets.
Yeah, you do.
If we have to get in touch with G. Bush, I'm not going to call. I might just tweet at him now.
That's true.
Because there's actually a better chance of G answering a random tweet online than there is of him answering a text or something.
That is fair.
Right. Like, you have to go in the comment section and be like,
yeah,
G. Bush, you got to hit me up in 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh, for real?
Send me your headline. You should put it in the YouTube chat.
You're right.
G, send your headline in.
Hey, man, shout out to the chat,
G, we need a headline for tomorrow at some point in the chat, and I'll drop it in there. Tyvis, just so you know, we put up a poll. Would you consider Tyvis successful? We have over 300 votes already. 94% said yes, you are. So there you go.
I guess my definition of success and everybody else's definition of success is two different.
What's your definition of success?
My definition of success is when you're at the highest mountain of whatever occupation that you're going for. Like when you're at the top job, at the top level.
Well, only like one person can be that, right?
He's successful.
So
he or she is successful.
That would mean it's only one successful person.
So for me, it's always an ongoing strive to get there.
That's good, but it doesn't mean you're
I'll
not
never
successful.
consider myself successful. And success is also like if I died today, I think Earl told me this, if I died today, like when I look back on my life, like was it successful? And I would say no, because there's a lot of things that I didn't do.
You're too hard on yourself.
No, that's just how I look at it.
Hey, listen, I look at, like I told you, I look at success as family. Did you leave something here that was better than you got it? Did you find your purpose in life? And
look, what you had to, I don't know how much you've talked about it publicly, so I'm not going to speak for you.
No, I'm an open book.
But you overcame a lot as a kid of what you had to deal with at home.
Yeah.
And so just getting out of that and being a good person, having a good family, is quite the accomplishment by itself, beyond all the other things you've done.
You owe me and Bull $50 for this counseling
Yeah, really.
session. Let's
Yeah.
keep it moving.
All right, guys, let's get into today's show. We got a lot to get to. We got Leroy coming up in a little bit, but we'll start with some Browns after a quick reminder that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, NFL fans can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. When you get in a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the exact same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. During the game on Sunday, Tyvis, we were texting, and you said you felt like the Browns were playing with a loser's mentality. Those were your words. Do you want to explain what you mean by that? And can that be something that gets flipped mid-season? Or is that just an inherent trait of a team once camp breaks?
Well, let's put more context on it, because what I said was what I think I said. I haven't went back and read my exact words, but what I was saying is, to me, it seems like they resorted back to old habits. You know what I'm saying? Like, for so long, the Browns they haven't been successful. You know, Kevin's come in and he has some successful seasons, but overall, it's been losing seasons. And if you've been a part of this franchise or this fan base for a long time, it's just kind of what it is. It's like, oh, well, there it is again. You know, it's another year of losing, blah, blah, blah. And last year was an anomaly because it seemed like no matter what, it was like, we going to win this game. Like, I don't care if we down to our fifth string guy. I don't care what they doing. We're going to figure it out. And by all accounts, the one thing we're going to do is we're going to be tough and physical every time. Like, when teams play us, we going to trash talk. We going to hit hard. We going to try to knock players out the game, all of those things. And when I watched them last week, I seen absolutely none of that. None of that at all. I seen a Raiders team that was like, you know what? It looked like they took last year's mentality and was the new Browns, the Raiders was. Where it was like, we ain't got Devontae, we ain't got Max, but you know what? It don't matter. The next man up, and we're going to go out there, we're going to find a way to win this game. Whether that's run the ball, pass the ball, whatever it is, we're going to do. And I felt like the Browns just didn't match that. And I was like, it looks like 2 years ago. And I kept saying it looked like the Falcons game 2 years ago. Yeah. Like, dudes getting blown off the ball, dudes ain't coming up hitting, guys missing tackles. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, I thought with Jim Schwartz and y'all running it back, like, y'all should be head and shoulders above anybody, because y'all got the chemistry. It's the same playbook. Y'all ain't really switching up nothing. Guys are healthy. So it should look head and shoulders better than it did last year, because a lot of the production came with 2s and 3s in there. Sure. So now if you got straight 1s in there that's healthy, I know Miles is banged up, but that's healthy, like, it should still look better than when it's looking. And when I watched that game last week, I didn't see it.
So how do you explain it? Is there an answer for it?
What
do
you
think's going on?
I mean, for one, I'm not them, so I don't necessarily never know what's going on or how they're feeling body-wise. But it doesn't look like they're as engaged as they were last year. Like, I don't know why they think to me, it's like, it's going to happen eventually. That's how they play. Like, all right, we're not there. It's going to get there eventually. Don't worry. We're going to fix this eventually. Mm-hmm. But I don't see urgency. Like, I don't see passion. And y'all going to laugh at me at this. This is a bold and hot take. But it's about one player, 2, because Jordan Hicks out, but there's one player that's missing on that defense that actually is a big trash talker and a big talker.
Who, Juan Thornhill?
Juan Thornhill. Like, so I didn't go to practice this past season, but I went to the OTAs last year, and I told y'all when I was there, the biggest trash talker was Juan Thornhill. You think about when they got into the scuffle with San Francisco.
Right.
Who was front line? Mm-hmm. Juan Thornhill. Yeah. So it's crazy. I'm not saying that Juan Thornhill's – people don't like Thornhill and people don't say he's this great player. And I'm not saying he's been as productive as we thought he would be. But it is something about having that guy on the field that's fearless like that, because he make you be like, oh, he talking to them like that? All right, that's my boy. I ain't going to let him be by himself. Yeah. So, boom, I'm with him. And now that he's not there – I don't necessarily know. I know G New is the energizer and he hits the dances and all of those things, but like when it comes to that dog mentality that can make other people feel like they a dog with them. I don't see that right now.
Like there needs to be. I'll kind of give you kind of an example. You know, Tyvis played at Ohio State. I played at OU. And the difference is Ohio State has a tradition of, it's a way bigger school, has a tradition of leaning on, when you come to Ohio State, this is what it is. And it's generation to generation. You come to Ohio State, we're going to have defensive backs. We're going to play a certain style of football. We got a brand. And it don't matter, the names on the back change, even the coaches change. But Ohio State is an institution, so when things get tough, you can always lean on the fact that, like, nah, we ain't going back to this. But when you playing for a team that has traditionally been bad and maybe have a couple spotty years here or there. Now, shout out to OU. They got a new coach in there, in Frank Solich, and they turned the program around. Now they're the winningest program in the MAC since 2006. So, like, they turned that whole thing around. But I remember being there and sitting in these rooms, and I would remember coaches doing things like saying, okay, you guys got to have your socks a certain height and T-shirts a certain way. And I'm like, bro, your game plan is trash. Your game plan is horrible. Like, because you spend so much time in those film rooms, and when you come from certain other programs, they teach you to be playmakers. They teach you to be looking at the whole scheme, know what everybody does, right? Understand that. So I'm sitting in these rooms and I'm looking around like, we can't do nothing with this. This game plan is trash. This is not going to work. And when you lose and you keep losing, the thing that you could always tell is when a coach stands up and says something, you know if a player paying attention or not. Mm-hmm. And you know if they feel like, I don't believe you. Some coaches get up there and they say it, and whatever the game plan come out, they believe it. Yeah. They invested in it. They're going to make sure everybody in that playbook, they're going to make sure everybody dialed in, and they are going to disseminate the game plan and the temperature and the culture to the rest of the people. What I see is there isn't nobody taking, who's the enforcer for Kevin Stefanski? Who is Stefanski saying, guys, we need to do this? And then they give it to so-and-so down here. And then you know what it is. Yeah. It's a leadership league. The Legion of Boom ran the whole situation. Yeah, they did. The whole thing. They can either cause a mutiny and go rogue, or they could put everybody else in check. Yeah. And right now, when I'm looking out there, I don't see nobody that's sitting here telling me, hey, we ain't about to let this happen. You know what we running this week, and if you out of position, X, Y, and Z gonna happen. You ain't got to deal with coach. You gonna deal with me. I just don't see that right now.
It's the same thing in the NFL. You referenced Ohio State and Ohio. When the Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh in Pittsburgh and Baltimore respectively, anything they say, the players are going to believe it. There may be some outliers. But, like, they've developed that culture over a long period of time. Yeah. And those have been successful franchises for most of, if nothing else, the last 20 years, right? Whereas with the Bengals and the Browns, even the fans, right? When it starts to go bad,
yep.
You go, if you're a Bengals fan or you're a Browns fan, you revert back to that. Here we go again. Mm-hmm. Steelers fans and Ravens fans don't do that.
No.
Because they're expecting it to go right.
Yeah.
They even, they get on Mike Tomlin because they've been kind of mediocre and they make the playoffs and don't win. But there's a certain level, like, that you don't ever, no Steeler fan thinks the Steelers are going to be a 4-win team ever. That never crosses their mind.
It's not in the realm of possibility.
No, right? But as a Browns fan specifically, Bengals too, but specifically to the Browns, like, that's not too far off the radar. You're always worried. Oh, are we going back to that?
Yeah.
Because they've been, even when they've had losing records with Stefanski, they've no longer been a garbage team.
Yeah.
The whole time he's been
here. What was his worst one, 7-10?
I think so. Yeah, I think 7-10 is his worst record. So they've at least been in the middle. Mm-hmm. They haven't been in the dreck where they were for so many years before Kevin Stefanski. And, before the season, everybody was very confident that the Browns defense would be, or most people were very confident that the Browns defense would be great again next year. And the reason I didn't pick the Browns to make the playoffs, part of that was my concern about Deshaun Watson heading into the season. But another part of it is, and even though quarterbacking is down when you're a team that is led by your quarterback, like the Chiefs, and I know Patrick Mahomes is in a class by himself, but like when the Chiefs always have Patrick Mahomes, even if he's not having a good game, even if he's not having as great a season as you would expect, you still trust him every time in the big spot.
Yeah.
When you rely on your defense to lead the team, with quarterback, you're relying on one guy, essentially. Yes, he needs help around him, but as long as that guy's great, you feel like you always got a shot. With defense, you're relying on 11 guys. Maybe not 11, but certainly 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And so if 2 or 3 of those guys, for whatever reason, are not the same guy they were the year before, maybe they're distracted by something in their personal life. Maybe they've got a nagging injury. Maybe they're distracted by their contract. Maybe they just, last year they had to prove themselves and this year they don't. Whatever it may be, that could sink a defense. And even like the Browns defense isn't terrible right now.
No, it's not.
But last year they went to the playoffs. We always talk about they made it with 4 quarterbacks. They made it because the defense was great.
Yes. Yep. And it's not like they're giving up a ton of points. It's just
it's the eye test.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about Baltimore and you talk about Pittsburgh, like it's a physicality thing. In this conference, the more physical team is always the one that's gonna win. And right now I just don't see it. Like to see Alexander Madison, who's a decent back, but he's
just the guy.
The way he was running that ball and was getting yard, like they talk about angry runs, like that's what he did. And I was shocked that nobody came and was like, boom, blasting back. Like he literally was like, I'm running this ball, I'm getting this first down, and it ain't a dang thing you gonna do to stop it.
Right.
And they just like, yeah, you got it. And it took, and at that time where I text this in the chat, I was like, up until this point, the defense ain't did nothing on this entire season. They haven't done anything.
No.
And up until and then boom, as soon as I say that, they forced the fumble, and then boom, you see all this energy. But it's like, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. Like, that's the missing piece. Like, y'all got to get a takeaway to energize everybody.
If you don't on defense, this is a prerequisite for playing defense. You have to have a nasty disposition. You got to actually be a guy that is an attacker, a guy that's enthusiasm. You cannot play defense without enthusiasm and energy. You just can't. Like, offenses can come out and that look like they don't got energy because they know where the play's going. They know what the snap count and the play is. You don't. You got to play at a speed and a breakneck pace. And a lot of it, Tyvis, I'm seeing too, I'm not seeing guys playing like I'm the only one that can make that tackle. And when you'll see it because when you play that way, it creates game tackling. Mm-hmm. I'm not waiting for Tyvis to make the play, right? This is why, for me, this is so nerve-wracking, and sometimes I get really angry about this, is we put all of the pressure on the big-name guys. But you got to understand, Myles Garrett is getting 2-3 sacks, and he's out there hobbled. You know what the worst part about that is? That means if he's getting double and he's getting home and he's hobbled, what are you doing getting single block, doing nothing the whole game? And sometimes it happens when you play with really good players, and sometimes you start looking at them and you start being a spectator of the really good players instead of being like, well, hold on. I got to hold up my end of the bargain. I know Myles is doing my thing. At one point in time, Zadarius Smith was a game wrecker himself in this league.
Yeah. And they got veteran defensive linemen. There's no excuse.
You got to get home.
Yeah.
It ain't no wait on Myles type stuff. And I'm just seeing it's a lot of people waiting on other people to figure it out. Then they can jump on the bandwagon. No, you can figure it out by you making a play.
Think about it. You mentioned Myles Garrett is dealing with 3 different injuries. He's getting double teamed. And yet he leads the team in sacks. If I'm another player on this team, I got to be embarrassed by that.
Yes.
Who forced that fumble? Do we know?
Isaiah McGuire.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
The draft, what was he, 6th round, 5th round pick last year?
5th round draft pick, yeah, he forced the fumble.
Quentin Jefferson.
That's a shame. He don't even be out there like that.
Quentin
he better be out there now.
Quentin Jefferson hasn't. Alex Wright has had a lot of dumb penalties.
Yep.
Greg Newsome in the secondary has
You
not
mean
tackled.
that? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not like, but we're not gonna speed past this. So you mean to tell me this man got Zadarius, Alex, double O in front of him, and he can't. So he's essentially the fifth DN.
Yeah, 5th or 6th.
And he came in and created the play to spark that. Boy.
Ty, real quick, before we move on from that, you think he gets more snaps on Sunday
He
against
better.
the Commanders because of that play?
He better. Why would you not?
So,
What has the other people done that that shows that he shouldn't get snaps?
It's funny, too, because whenever there's a fumble, they always, on the broadcast, highlight the player that recovers the fumble instead of the player who caused the fumble. Which is just, like, we didn't even know for sure who caused the fumble.
Yeah.
But you knew who picked it up.
Yeah.
Like, the guy who caused the fumble, he did the hard part.
he-
The other guy just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
What they did.
G, hold on one sec. The snap count against the Raiders, I just looked this up. McGuire played 14 snaps. Alex Wright played 20 snaps. Ogbo, 20 snaps. Jefferson, 22 snaps. Zadarius, 30 snaps. Miles, 44. Those are your defensive snaps. So 14, 20, 20, 20, 22,
Miles played
30, and 44.
snaps.
Guy's got 3 injuries.
So what do you
Double
expect?
team.
Ty, what do you expect from McGuire? If he got 14 last week, what do you think this week?
He should at least be 20. I don't see how you couldn't.
And if he plays well, you know what he's going to do. Show me the money!
Well, he's got like 2 years before you can do that.
That was a Jerry Maguire reference. Come on now.
Yeah, you're right.
got
I
2
always would. I think that's the only way you can hurt people in the NFL when guys are making that amount of money and you really, you'll be gone before they will. The only way you can really affect the way they playing is playing time. If you get 5 snaps and you used to getting 30. That hurts your soul. You're like, this is what it looked like when you over here on the bench looking at the field.
Where was the 2 rookies? What positions was there for the Raiders?
Guard.
Yeah. So you was getting locked
So
up.
you mean to tell me 2 veterans,
2 veterans was getting locked up
2 rookies?
and gave up 159 yards on the ground. That is called you got manhandled. 159 with 2 rookies. You supposed to be eating up front.
Was they tell me they was in the first round at least?
You don't want to know the answer.
No. I mean, they're playing well. All right, let's go to Leroy.
We got Leroy. We'll bring him in after a quick word from Game Time. Guys, if you're looking to buy a ticket to an upcoming Browns game, maybe a Guardians playoff game, a Cavs game, which starts in less than a month, you better be using Game Time to get those tickets. Game Time is the easiest and fastest way to buy your tickets online. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Bull?
Game time.
It's game time.
We got Leroy Hoard with us, of course. He joins us every week at this time. Leroy, how are you?
Oh man, it's been a rough couple of weeks. I rewatched the game just to try to, when you see something, and you want to shake your head and say, "I did not see that."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are you talking about specifically, Leroy? Is there something specifically you have in mind?
Just to me, it looks like the defense is getting worn down and being asked to be way too perfect. And it's showing that every time they give up anything, it costs the team. And it's sucking the life out of them. And they're still playing okay. I heard you guys talking about the two guards. Was it 2 guards or 2 linemen?
Yeah, 2 guards.
The 2 rookie linemen.
Yeah.
And I think you want to make some adjustments, but if you look at those numbers, sometimes you just have to do what you're doing and do it better, right? Sometimes those numbers, and they did run the ball well, but not to the point where they were just, the game got out of touch. So, I don't know if I would have said, to Jim, hey, let's start putting some pressure on them, moving guys around and kind of try to find a soft spot on the offensive line. I think I would have did that more to make the quarterback feel a little uncomfortable. But, yeah, it's just hard because, after a couple of games like this, you want to come up with solutions. And from the outside looking in, we don't really know what the problem is, But I will say this. The one thing that I could always count on with the Cleveland Browns in the last 5+ years is they're going to run the football and stop the run. And they've lost that identity on both sides of the ball. When you lose that identity, you lose the physicality in which it takes to do those things. Mm-hmm. So I start there. And then how does the game unfold from those two aspects of it? And when you run the football, that opens up play action. You're not getting after the quarterback. When you let offensive linemen go downhill a lot, then they seem to pass protect better because they got a chance to get their shine on, pounding people. And it's just a snowball effect. But it all starts, and I'm seeing this throughout the league. It all starts with running the football and stopping the run. I don't care how cute your offense is. I don't care how fancy your offense is. At some point in time, you got to play physical football. And those teams that do all that sideways stuff and go side to side, they lose their physicality. And that's what's happening throughout the league. When you see all these teams, hell, look at Miami. Mm-hmm. All the outside runs and all the sweeps and stuff like that, it's 3rd and 1. They can't get a yard because they ain't never been physical enough to ever have to do it.
Leroy, when you look at – now, speaking of physicality, your boy is practice on a limited basis yesterday. Yeah. Do you think we see him Sunday, or do you think he should wait another week?
I think they're going to – I would err on the side of caution. Mm-hmm. But I will also say this. If you're healthy, you're healthy. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like if you have been declared healthy, waiting another week ain't going to make you more healthy. No. There's no such thing. You're either healthy or you're not. Yep. So if he's not quite there, then he's not healthy. If he's healthy, then he can play. And we can't make that determination, but that's how I do it with everything. That's how I did it with Tua. Like, okay, first of all, who cares what everybody thinks? He has to be cleared to play. Until he's cleared to play, having all these side conversations don't matter. Mm. So let's wait for Nick Chubb to get to that point and then see how he feels. And then we can do that. He was doing the little thing on the bench. He's sitting down. He ain't even standing up yet. What are we doing? You think he's going to run through folks? Like, what y'all seeing? Yeah. I don't know when that picture was taken.
Ran through in a minute.
No.
Yeah. So, but do I think here's when Nick Chubb comes back, the tone that he sets on the football field changes the attitude of everybody else. Everybody has that guy, right? Everybody has that guy. When he goes onto the football field, because you know how he plays, everybody else follows suit. So, will Nick Chubb make a difference? Yes. Even if he doesn't have a whole bunch of success.
Leroy, I just wanted to follow up. I was actually reading an article about you from 10 years ago, believe it or not, earlier today, in some Minnesota paper. I don't remember what it was, but you talked about what you went through after playing, tough times you went through, and how you came out of it. And because you brought up Tua, it just kind of reminded me of something that you said in this article, that you had they quoted you saying you had a ton of concussions, but that you only missed one game in your career due to concussion. Obviously, it wasn't taken as seriously then as it is now. But so because you brought up Tua, I don't know. I mean, like I can't remember if we've talked to you about it already, but
right. So,
like what's your thoughts about what he's been through, knowing what you've been through?
I'll tell you the story. So, I was on kickoff. I'd never been on kickoff before, but when Bill Belichick took over, everybody did special teams. So I was on kickoff. I was holding ass down the field. And I went, uh-oh, I'm by myself and I got to make a tackle, which I've never done. So I kind of turned my head to the side, had a collision, night-night. Now, the crazy thing about it was, and let me show you how these concussions work. You know who the guy I tackled? Ice Cube, the smallest guy in the NFL.
Who was it?
Gerald McNeil.
Yeah.
Gerald McNeil.
Yeah.
He was 145 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
So I understand how these things happen. Everybody just like the hits are the collisions, the what? No, it's not. Like it's just it has more or less to do with how you get hit. So I've had other concussions and I've missed the rest of games. And that following week, I went through all the tests, right? Even practice. And this was right after I went to the hospital and came back to the stadium in my street clothes.
Yeah.
They didn't hold me for observation. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Hold up the 2 fingers or whatever. Let's go. Right?
You hit the sword, huh?
Damn.
Right. So I go, they bring me back to the stadium. I go out on the field. I say, I'm good. I got a neck brace on or whatever. I'm in my street clothes. The following week, I don't practice on Wednesday. I go through some practice Thursday, and they take me through a workout on Friday. Bill Belichick comes to me and say, I'm going to sit you out this week. I say, but I'm healthy. I need to see one more week. So he tells that story about how he sat guys out that were cleared for play. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, yeah, that was me. Mm-hmm. So you can't, I think, it's such you got to be careful with it. Now there's more tests. There's more ways to evaluate it or whatever. Tua is going to go through that process. If he's cleared, then he can play. It's his decision. But here's what I would say. It's probably going to happen again.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's football. Your head is not going, you ain't going to be able to play for a substantial amount of time with your head not being put in harm's way. And that's just the nature of the sport. So we have to understand the nature of the sport and understand the necessary steps that need to be taken for a player to be able to get back on the field. While everybody's getting all up in arms, hey, if you're not cleared, you can't play. And they have more testing, they have more evaluation, they have more steps that they take to clear you. That's the best you can do at this moment. Mm-hmm. So, I get it, I understand it, I try to explain it to people, and yeah, I had some concussions, sure, right? Did I ever think at that time, what the lasting effects were? No, I love playing football. And football is a physical sport. And the thing that you can't do that everybody tries to do is make the sport less physical.
That's right.
You can't do it.
It's not
So stop trying to act like we taking collisions out of it.
Yeah, right. Good point.
Here's what I want to try to get you to do too. I need us to stop acting on another front.
What you mean?
That's called a tease right there, Leroy. I'm cold at him. I talked to your man Bernie. I got him in studio, and I said, Bernie, you've been calling plays for your whole life. I talked to Sean King. Said, Sean, y'all been playing the game at a high level, and when we gonna stop pretending? We all see it. You see it. When you watch the Cleveland Browns, they are a team trying to act like other people. They acting. they drop him back, and Joe Batonio ain't gonna say it, but he's like, I ain't never dropped back in them 5 wide and drop back and shadow people and try to be. That's not our game plan. When is Kevin Stefanski gonna just say this? You get a meeting with Deshaun Watson. You bring, I don't care. You got to bring the ownership in there. Bring Barry in there and say, listen, guys, we 1-3 right now. We don't got the receivers on the outside to do nothing, going vertical. We need to pare that down. We do not have the offensive line to be protecting 40, 50, 60 passes a game and shotgun. We can't run our play action game out of the gun. Guys, we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to pare this all the way down. We got Chubb coming back. He's our best player. We can get creative on the ground a little bit, maybe run some little motion stuff or whatever, but we got to get back to doing X, Y, and Z. And this is why you done gave me the doggone extension. This is how I'm moving. When is it going to happen?
Okay. Let me tell you what's going on in real life. You know, that sounds like a bed of roses, what you talking about. It sounds very simple to fix, right? Here's the problem. You're not running the ball well. So that eliminates half of the stuff. Then you got to find creative ways to get positive yards on first down. So you try to do it with the short passes. So I'm not going to get mad at Kevin Stefanski for trying to make it work when your identity has been lost.
You can't get it back.
That's why I said, oh yeah, it's going to come back when 24 come on the field.
Okay.
Because everybody on the field is going to understand the different level of physicality that we now have to play with to have success. See, when you say to a running back, and I'm going to say this, I think the offensive line blocked differently when I was in the game than when Metcalf was in the game. Because we was two different runners. Right? When I was running the ball, they would say, all we got to do is give him a crack. He going to push the pile and we going to get 5 or 6. Right? He might even get through there. When Metcalf in his game, we got to get him a hole. Right? Because he runs differently. It's not a knock on Eric. It's just sometimes mentally, it's like, guess what? I've always said to an offensive lineman, you block him wherever you want. It's my job to find the crease. Why still, after 100+ years of football, does an offensive lineman try to steer the defensive guy to show the running back where to run? You know what that's called? Holding. Every time. Because the running back goes somewhere, you don't want him, so you hold the guy. Just block him. We'll figure it out. I've been saying that throughout my whole career. Hey, just get on him and push him wherever he wants to go. I will find a crack.
You sound like a running back coach. That sounds like a running back coach right there.
That's the reality of it. Give the guys behind you a chance to make a play. You trying to determine where they should go, and that's why you holding.
Great point.
Just block them. We'll figure it out.
Leroy, let me ask you this, because there's a lot of people that's been down on the offense. Do you think it's fair that do you think it's fair to say that you can't really judge them until they get Njoku and Nick Chubb back?
Hell yeah, you could judge him.
Of course. That's crazy.
Wait.
What? That's
let me tell you why.
Two big weapons, though.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Okay? And I'm not picking on the offensive line, but I am. Regardless of who's behind you, why does that preclude you from doing your job? So when I see Deshaun drop back, as soon as he look up, he got 3 men in his face. What that got to do with who's available to catch the ball? You see what I'm saying? It'd be something different if Deshaun didn't throw it because there was no separation. Or if Deshaun didn't do this because he didn't feel comfortable throwing it to the guys and he knew that Njoku or somebody would, go up and contest the play. That is different. There's a lot of times he don't have time. There's a lot of times where Ford don't have no room to run.
Leroy, it's a aura they bring. It's their aura, like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb coming back.
Nick Chubb is an aura. Nick Chubb is an aura.
Not David
But
Njoku.
the other guys, that's step 2 or 3 in the offense.
Yeah.
It starts up front.
I tried.
So I hope that the whole attitude of the team changes when Nick Chubb comes back because they know how he does business.
Well, Leroy, it looked like
see what I mean?
It looked like the attitude of your Wolverines changed. I look good.
Hey, dude, let me tell you something. They did. They got a big win against USC.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm afraid of. This reminds me when I was playing and we had Demetrius Brown and Michael Taylor. Michael Taylor was smart as a whip, knew the offense up and down. Everybody was excited, but he didn't have a strong arm, right? In comes Demetrius Brown. He had a strong arm, but every time he came in the game, everybody on the first 2 rows put their gloves on because they thought they was going to get one, right? That's just the difference of the two. I see a lot of that now. Orgy is a little more athletic, but they ain't throwing the ball with him.
No, they ain't throwing.
And then when Warren's in the game, he throwing it to anybody.
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma that I'm seeing with them. Now, they're still being able to pull a lot of these games out, just being physical, which I'm glad they got back to. Because if you physical up front, it's going to keep you in a lot of games you have no business being in, right? If you can control the line of scrimmage. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they have to do. I just know that there's other teams that play more physical, and if they get a 2-touchdown or a 10-point lead and you got to throw the ball, I don't know how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, man.
By the way, next time Leroy comes to town, we got to take him. I was just thinking, speaking of Michigan, we got to take him to Sweet Pork Wilson's.
Yeah, listen. When
What
you
that
come
got to do with the
Hey, hold on.
Wolverines?
Because Jason, one of the owners of Sweet Pork Wilson's, played offensive line at Michigan.
he did.
That's why I haven't been there.
Yes.
That's exactly why.
Hey, Leroy, when you come to town, you took care of us when we was a poor little show.
Yeah.
You took care of us.
He bought us a very nice dinner.
You bought us dinner. So now
Where G. Bush cut his stuff.
Oh, man. I wanted to go on the other side and say, you want me to cut this steak for you? Little bitty baby pieces.
So what we gonna do? What we gonna do is we gonna return the favor, and when you come into town, Adam the Bull is gonna pay.
I'll co-sign that. Absolutely.
All right, I'll do it. I'll pay him. My treat.
If we go to Sweet Porks, we can hook him up.
That's right. All right, Leroy. We'll see you later, man. Be good.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right, always good talking with Leroy.
The great Leroy Hoard.
Mike, let's pull a flipperoo here since we were just talking about Nick Chubb. Why don't we do the Nick Chubb and then go to your 5 points? Is that all right?
That is perfectly fine, but before we do either of those, let's tell you guys about the Ultimate Buckeye Show, which is up this morning. Dustin and Tyvis recorded it yesterday. Tyvis forgot to text me to tell me it was recorded, so it didn't get posted until this morning, but no worries. You still have plenty of time to check out 2 former Buckeye champions previewing the big-time matchup against Iowa this week. Tyvis, what's the line?
I think it's 20.5.
Big time.
Is it?
No, I
Conference
said it's
matchup.
in Columbus.
In
3:30
Columbus.
game. They gotta keep listen.
Got a
it
nice
Check.
back.
Make sure you check it out. Check out the thing. Me and Dustin talk about how they running back is actually he's one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. I put him second. Kyle Monungai from Rutgers, Caleb Johnson from Iowa second. Just coming off of a 200-yard game. He's literally their entire offense. The kid is from Hamilton, Ohio, and we talked about how
How did he end up not going to Ohio State?
he said that he always wanted to beat Ohio State. He said even if they offered him, he was a 3-star kid. He said even if they offered him, he still would have turned it down because he wants to beat Ohio State. So he got some
for him.
opportunity.
Former Michigan transfer, right? At quarterback. right?
Oh yeah, K.
Kerry
McNamara.
McNamara, he's still playing.
That guy?
Still got
He's been
10.
around forever?
Oh no, he was one of them COVID kids. COVID
kids.
Well, I think he blew his ACL last year, so
Okay.
he got another year.
got pretty good defense though.
Yeah,
All right,
defense
let's
is
talk
fine.
some more about Nick Chubb, guys. I can't remember which one of you asked Leroy if he thought Nick Chubb I think it was you, Tyvis, asked him if he thought Nick Chubb would play this week.
Yeah.
And I love the point. I thought he made some really interesting points
I did too.
on the running game specifically. But his point on Nick Chubb, like, if you're healthy, you're healthy.
Yeah.
So, because we were talking, like, do you need to work him in slowly? And ultimately, if he's healthy, if he's cleared, if the doctor says whether he has 5 carries or 20, he's not any more likely or less likely to get hurt,
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, he may not be in football shape to be able to play 20 carries. However, that's the thing where you bet on Nick Chubb. Like, coming back from a knee injury, it doesn't matter how tough and strong, it's your knee. Mm-hmm. But in terms of, if I'm going to bet on a player that even though he hasn't played in over a year, is going to be as close to football shape as humanly possible, I'm betting on Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I think mentally, I think you could be physically, then it's mentally, right? Are you mentally ready to play? And I think if they find out that Nick Chubb is mentally ready to play, then he's going to be out there. Where you get this footage from?
We took every video that the reporters out of Berea yesterday
Love it.
took of Nick Chubb, and let's just play a couple. You get some live reaction. This was from Mary Kay. This next one is also from Mary Kay, doing some bandage stretching here. And let's go to the next one. Let's just keep circling through. This is pretty basic drills. Nothing.
Which knee was it?
It's his left knee. Ty, how does it look to you? I mean, I know it's a very basic drill, but
I mean, it looks fine.
he's moving.
I mean, he's doing lateral stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
He pushing off,
does he
bro.
have a brace?
He was not wearing a brace yesterday,
like
which
it.
I thought was pretty interesting.
Who the heck is 22?
Nah,
That's
he's
Naheem
not.
Hines. He
Why are we
also-
looking at that? Oh, here's a rat's ass.
And I'm like, that looks terrible.
He's a special team.
I was like, that don't look like. I said,
That's not Nick Chubb.
he's -2. I'm like, who's this -2 guy?
Hey, all hands on deck. Naheem Hines was a really good return man a few years ago. It's been a while since he played.
Maybe he can come
He
back.
got hurt. He got hurt in a non-football injury.
It's a
I
jet
think.
ski injury.
A what?
A jet ski.
Oh, jet skis.
Jet
Stay off.
skis is dangerous.
Jet
I
skis,
mean,
4-wheelers, all that.
I think G is right when it's physically. I don't think he's gonna be a problem. I mean, the man was just squatting 700 pounds. Like I think he's fine. To me, I need to see when he breaks and he sees that DB try to cut his leg.
Yeah.
The reaction to it. That's like, is it one of them, or is it like, yo, come on?
But
like, that's what I want to know.
Whether he plays in week 5, 6, 7.
that
moment's gonna happen.
Exactly. So I want to see how he is to that.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's fine. He looks good getting the ball, cutting and doing all of those things. He looks fine. And
Guys,
I mean, he's a downhill guy anyway.
He don't have no brace. Look, maybe it's just me.
And he ain't wearing no brace,
Bro, look, they was mandatory. Like you tear anything, and I used to tell them I don't want to play out there with no brace. It look nasty. They're like, no, you're gonna wear this brace.
Yeah.
Like for a running back to come back no brace, that says a lot, bull.
I think there's no doubt about it. And I got to tell you guys, like, the Browns have had us dead. Like, there's been nothing to get excited about.
At all.
But
No.
seeing Nick Chubb,
it does bring energy.
I was like,
well, you can tell
let's
that.
go.
You see the players. You seen David Njoku on what, Monday or Tuesday when he did his video.
Yeah.
JOK was hyped up. Like, everybody knows, like,
He's a
Batman is back. Like, it's time. Let's get back out here.
And this is the crazy part about
And
it.
it's a great time after that loss.
You know what's crazy? Deshaun Watson has played one game with Nick Chubb.
Has it? Yeah.
One
in
Cincinnati.
Because
No, hold
Pittsburgh,
on.
he
No,
got
he
hurt.
played those games
2
at
years
the end
ago.
of
You did have those games
22.
in 2020.
So he's played
potentially
7
7.
Yeah.
Like,
Nick Chubb played all 7.
I don't remember,
when you look at when you bring Deshaun Watson into the fold, you think of Deshaun Watson along with Nick Chubb. You're not thinking like, oh, Deshaun Watson got to be back there carrying the load. Like,
Has he ever had a running back like that?
No.
like
Not even
no.
close.
Like,
In Houston, they did.
No.
Not even close.
Who was the Lamar Miller?
and remember we was talking about this offense, right? who do you put the offense on? Who are you going to spot shadow? Who does this offense run through, right?
Yeah.
And for all of the years that the Browns were good or in the playoffs, guess who it was running through?
24.
There it is.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's far-fetched to say 24 come back and he looked like 24. Then you go to 4 and say, listen.
Well, the thing about him though, what made Nick Chubb so special is that we thought for so many years the offensive line is great, but to be honest with you, he made them actually look better because he did get hit sometimes behind.
Yeah,
behind
now it's
the
better
line.
than it is now.
Yes,
but
he
made it look even better.
He hid some of their flaws with some of the stuff he was able to do.
I want to say, and Mike, I don't know if we can find this easily, but I believe that Nick Chubb maybe has the most yards after contact, maybe of any running back in the history of football. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I bet you he's right there.
I'll look it up.
And there's another one, McNuggets. Nick Chubb had the highest rate of making an unblocked guy miss.
Did he really?
I mean, like he is listen, I don't know how long he's going to be great. He may never be the same guy again. Who knows? But so far in Nick Chubb's career, as short as it's been to this point, he's been historically excellent. Not just excellent for now. Like he's in a lot of all-time lists, not in terms of total numbers, but if you look at yards per carry, things like that, yards after contact, like his numbers are historically good. And he like when we talk about Myles Garrett, has mostly played with marginal talent around him at best.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
what is
actually,
he's had
because David Njoku just now coming on.
He's had spotty quarterback play.
Odell and Jarvis,
but they were fine. But it wasn't like
no, they wasn't like
here. Yeah, it wasn't like he was playing with a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson or a Travis Kelce. And not everybody gets to play with players that good. I get it, but go ahead, Mike.
I found the stat I think you're referring to.
Okay.
So this was before this season. So entering last season, sorry.
Entering the 23 season.
Entering the 23 season, Chubb only played in the 1.5 games last year, so taking that out.
Yeah.
According to Next Gen Stats, from 2018, which when Nick Chubb was drafted, to 2023, so not including last season, up to last season.
So 5 years.
He generated 1,312 rushing yards over expected, which is 300 yards more than Derrick Henry, who's second in that category.
Okay, I don't know if people realize how big a difference that is. That's crazy. And Derrick Henry's a beast also.
And
Derrick Henry's a great running
back. Let me make
back.
it even crazier.
Yeah.
This is the top 5 in that stretch.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's on that list. Jonathan Taylor hadn't played as long. But Nick Chubb first. 1,312 yards over expected from 2018 through the end of the 2022 season.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry second, 1,034. So literally 290.
Right. And Derrick Henry gets more carries than Nick Chubb.
So 280, whatever that number is. Number 3, Jonathan Taylor, 673.
Right.
Number 4, Saquon, 553. And number 5, Aaron Jones, 435. That's almost 1,000 more yards.
So there's only been 4 backs over that 5-year stretch that averaged 100 yards over expected per year or more. And he averaged over 200 yards more per year.
Over 300. He's got 13.
No, it's 5 years.
Oh, 200. You're right.
Yeah,
sorry.
So about 250.
About 250.
A little over
yeah.
250. And there's only 3 other guys who have averaged over 100. That's how big a difference it is. That's why he is super special.
They said this is for PFF.
Yeah.
Right. He says, so this is since 2021.
Yeah.
And PFF counts 10-yard runs as explosive runs.
Yeah.
He has.
Does that include last year?
This includes last year.
So he didn't even play.
He didn't even play last year.
So he only gets 2 in 3 years. Go ahead.
88 explosive runs, and the next guy is Jonathan Taylor.
And that's with
71.
missing a year.
That's with missing a whole year. That's
so this is a whole nother level. Now, until we see him on the field again, we're not going to know what he is.
Are you expecting that?
I'm not expecting. I'm expecting him to be.
His first time out, let's say he got 10 carries. How many yards you think?
I'm expecting him to have like 55 yards on 10 carries, which is a lot. That's 5.5 yards a carry. I'm expecting Nick Chubb to be like 75, 80% of what he was in his first game, which is a lot to ask because most guys are like maybe 50%, maybe.
You know, you said something and I really agree with it. Like, we're 4 games in, and we are dead. Like, there is
like energy-wise.
There is nothing. There is nothing. And this is crazy. Deshaun Watson played his best game.
Right.
And Cass is like, it's like, but it's still dead. Like, it's nothing. Like, you don't want to come in and be like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm pumped up because I'm watching. Okay, we gonna move. We gonna do. Nick Chubb gives you that feeling like, that we can do something.
That's right. And as Tyvis, as you pointed out, he's going to give juice to the whole team when he comes back.
Yeah. That's because everybody loves Nick Chubb.
Everybody loves Nick Chubb.
And they know what he can do. They know what he's about. They know what he's done on the field. And it's just like, I think Leroy right. Like, the physicality part is the one that's missing.
Level.
But, like, he's the definition of physicality.
Yeah. Right.
How can I not be physical when 24 is in here?
Yeah.
Only person that has less haters than Tyvis is Nick Chubb.
Oh, no, he don't got. Listen,
nobody. You have to be a miserable human being to not like.
I wonder what would be the negative thing people would say to
you. Could say anything.
You could, bro. You gotta keep that to yourself.
Even if you're a Steelers fan, a Bengals fan, a
the
Ravens fan,
Steelers always chant his name.
There's one real criticism on Nick Chubb.
There's nothing.
His cereal wasn't that good.
His what?
His cereal wasn't that good.
Wasn't it cereal? Wasn't it Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Man, what are you talking about?
It's right behind you.
As a matter of fact, I did a beautiful video for that. That Cinnamon Toast Crunch is
It's
crazy.
just Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You're
What's wrong with
outvoted,
you?
Mike. I didn't try. I never tried it.
It wasn't very good.
It was beautiful. You can eat some right now and it still be jumping. Now.
They tearing him up in the chat.
All right. Go ahead, Mike.
We got 5 stats we got to get to that are going to help us make informed predictions for this weekend's game against the Commanders. After a quick word from FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get in a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
We'll preview the Guardians and the Tigers in about 15, 20 minutes, but go ahead, Mike.
All right, we just talked about Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Getting Nick Chubb will be incredibly beneficial for this first stat we're going to start with. And, Bull, you actually contributed to this first stat, so I appreciate it. The Browns are the worst first down team in football right now, especially when it comes to running the ball. Against Vegas, they ran the ball 7 times for 9 yards, a 1.28 yard per carry average, a 14% success rate.
On first down, you're talking about.
On first down.
Yeah.
On the season, on first down runs.
That's terrible.
They have 34 attempts, 100 yards for a 2.9 yard per carry, a 23.5% success rate. They are by far the least efficient running team on first down in football, which is putting them in third and long situations. We'll talk about third down in a second. And, Bull, you gave us the stat on Monday. The Browns are dead last in the NFL in terms of running backs, yards after contact.
Right. You go from Nick Chubb, who's the best in football, yards after contact, to mostly Jerome Ford, who has been terrible at yards after contact. Jason made the point of 7 he never breaks a tackle. He actually broke 2 tackles last week. And
after Jason texted.
Yeah, and that big run he had, he did break a tackle. But generally, he does not break tackles. And, yeah, I mean, think about it. Every time they run, their average second down is second and 7.
Or
Basically second
and
a long
7.
If you will. So that puts you, and that's why they've been throwing a lot on first down because they're having no success running the ball on first down.
Well, it definitely makes play calling hard when you don't get a lot of yards on first down. That's a shame, though. Like, I don't understand why they aren't effective. Do you think it's more the offensive line or do you think it's more the running back? What was it?
I think it's both.
Was it like that in Jacksonville when they did Jacksonville game? I know that. Never mind.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I just know for the season, they have a 23.5% success rate running the ball.
When you got guys up front and their PFF grades is in the 40s, I just heard Sean King say, man, 79, he's not good for nothing. He ain't good for run blocking or pass blocking.
Who was 79?
Big DeJuan.
Damn, I thought you knew everybody's number.
I don't know their number.
I'm like, and Jerome Ford has an occasional burst here or there. That's what he's known for. But that's the Eric Metcalf effect. You see what I'm saying? You there's some yards out there that you just need to ram it and just get you a couple of yards, right? And
That's not his thing.
That ain't his thing, right? And also, I think Bernie does a good job of talking about it. All this 2-point stance, sitting back and shotgun coming off, you ain't got no leverage. They way too high. They play so high. I've never seen somebody's pad levels. They would look up there, they ballet dancing with people. You got to come off the ball and hit somebody in the ear hole, Tyvis. They think they out here playing like the secondary.
It's an identity crisis. Or I can say there's some 24 back there. Maybe they will.
Jerome Ford is better as a change of pace back, occasional. I could even see them. I think Jerome Ford could be effective, like with Nick Chubb in the backfield.
Yeah.
Ford spread out a little bit. Like
isn't the best thing about him is his catching ability?
Yeah,
So,
and his
like,
ability in space. He
What's
can
the
be
one?
good.
What's the one running back we had that was like that? Just a couple years ago, he was
Ontario Hardesty.
no
Duke Johnson?
No, not
Well, Duke Johnson was a good passer.
He went to UCLA. He was a running back / receiver.
Oh, Felton. Demetric
yeah,
Felton.
Demetric Felton.
I was gonna say,
But Duke Johnson was a good pass catcher,
I was
too.
gonna say Isaiah Crowell.
Isaiah Crowell. He's decent back for a
He
while.
was a
Then he
decent-
then he
yeah,
got himself into trouble.
Remember Terrence West?
Terrence
Terrence
West.
West. That's old school right there. Go ahead, Mike.
All
Number
right,
two.
second stat. So we know the Browns are the only team in football that haven't scored 20 points this year. They're also the only team in football that hasn't gained 300 total yards as a team.
Really?
Part of it is because they stink on first down. The other part is because they also stink on third down. They're the worst first down team and the worst third down team in football.
God.
They've converted 11 of 54 third down attempts this season for a 20.75% conversion rating.
That's
That is
horrendous.
dead last in the NFL. Denver, with Bo Nix, is 31st, nearly 4 points higher than the Cleveland Browns. On the flip side, Washington is the worst third down defense in the NFL. They are allowing opponents to convert 46.25% of the time on third down.
No.
Something has to give.
54.76%.
Well, that's their stop rate. So the other teams convert
Oh, I
46%
see.
of the time. I should have just read what was on the graphic.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's
yes,
weird.
they stop the other opponent almost 55% of the time. 45%
Something's got to
of the time.
give, right?
Something's got to give.
Hey, Washington's playing? Washington's offense is playing out of its mind.
Yeah.
Their defense is not very good.
Yeah, they just outscoring people.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels has been awesome.
Crazy.
What's his name? Their running back. Although he's banged
Brian
up.
Robinson.
Brian
Brian Robinson's been excellent, but he's banged up.
Oh, really?
Austin Eckler's banged up. He didn't play last week. They used, what's his name? Jeremy McNichols?
J-Mac. I
Remember
played
him?
with him in San Francisco.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
J-Mac, I see you, baby.
He's been playing. And obviously, we know what Terry McLaurin is. I mean, they got a lot of talent on offense.
Scary Terry.
But their defense is not very good.
Where they secondary, is it? I mean, they D-line, I think they still got the 2 D tackles. So,
I mean,
I don't know what they're doing.
they didn't play well against the
Man,
Bengals. I know that.
Man, you listen. If there's any way you can be up against a game, and this is a game in which this is a game Jaden Daniels can come on back down to earth.
He could, yeah.
He can come on right on back down to earth. Like I know he's playing well. And by the way, shout out to my wife who says, you know, babe, I'm really scared about this game. I said, why? She was like, I do parlay. I said, I thought you told me. I think you doing parlays. I did it. No. Listen. I help out my Asian friends. Asian friend don't know United States parlay. So I tell him.
She didn't even know what football was. 10 years ago.
Now you doing parlay. She said, I don't put any money. I just pick. I work with Aussie. She is going to do parlay. But I scared about this game, baby. The Jaden Daniels.
Everybody loves Jaden
Such a ball player. I said, when did you watch Jaden Daniels?
We got some Jaden Daniels stats coming up at the end of this.
By the way, real quick, have you guys seen the video of Joe Shane's son, the Giants GM? And it was like from Hard Knocks. I hadn't seen it, but they recently put it out.
Yeah.
And Joe Shane is like asking his son, like he's kind of joking, but he's asking his teenage son, who should I draft? Who do you think we should draft? And the kid goes, Dad, you got to draft Jaden Daniels. He goes, we're not going to be able to get him. He's like, you got to trade up. He's like, Dad, this is your chance as a GM, you got to trade up and get Jaden Daniels.
That's badass. Wow. I like that. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they ended up with Malik Neighbors. So
Now, Malik Neighbors is a great player, but they don't have a quarterback.
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, next stat. We actually gave this stat earlier in the week, Bull, but we're going to give it again. The Browns, once again this season, are terrific on the opening drive of the season. Stefanski's opening script is as good as any team in football. The Browns have scored 60 total offensive points this season. They scored 66, take out the defensive touchdown against the Raiders. 24 of those 60 points have come on the Browns' first offensive possession of the game. The 15-play touchdown against the Raiders, the 1-play touchdown against the Giants, the 16-play touchdown drive against the Jaguars, and a 6-play field goal drive against Dallas. 40% of the team's total points have come on their opening drive of the season, by far the highest percentage in the entire NFL. On their 42 other drives, which does include kneel down, so it's probably really, 39-ish, they've scored 34 total points. That is 0.81 points per drive. Once again, the lowest number in the NFL.
That's crazy.
I mean, but the thing is, like, it's a new offense. And like I say, a lot of people think when you get a new offense, it's just gonna click right away. And sometimes it does.
It's the worst though.
We're in the situation where it ain't click yet.
But there's other teams with rookie coaches, rookie quarterbacks. They're all better than this.
Hey, Tyvis, listen,
They know no better.
Hey, McNuggets, I asked Sean King point blank yesterday. I said, bro, this don't look like no straightforward one band, one sound play calling system where it's like it's a very who's in charge. This looked like a mismatch, and he said it. You go back and rewind and make sure you go check out that interview. He said this is a mismatch of plays between the philosophy of Kevin Stefanski and Ken Dorsey.
You know what though? You know what? Now that you say that. Now that we talk about the coaching staff, and remember we talked Tuesday about how they got this new run game specialist. You think that affects Nick Chubb?
Yes and no. Yes, because I don't think there is creative, and they don't have. You went from a guy in Bill Callahan. That's why I cannot believe you just told me that. You go from a guy like Bill Callahan who knows offensive line play, and he's the run game coordinator, and he's called plays before. So now he creative. He know what to call based on the skill set of the guys up front. He know what Wyatt Teller do best. He know that Ethan Poaches can't block him one-on-one. So he like, we're going to double team this one. But we're going to pin and pull on this one. But then you got a new dude.
You also, you said that you was going to a more pass and attack. So
what?
He said, my son just got hired, and I always wanted to coach for my son.
And now
how's the Tennessee running game doing anyway? It ain't like great, is it?
Their offensive line's been bad so far.
So that's why I say yes and no. You got to have the dogs to run what you want to run and execute.
Yeah.
And you have to have running backs that have innate vision, right? Like, the thing Leroy said about holding, it's like that is true. Like the goal of the running back, he figures all that stuff out in the backfield.
That's right.
You blow people off the ball, and he work off you, not try to take somebody this way over. Nah, that ain't it.
And that's not working for the Browns. All right, rapid fire the last two, Mike.
Yeah, not with a rapid fire, but just don't want to get too
semi-rapid fire.
Tyvis, talk about the defense to start the show, and they're not playing with enough fiery passion is kind of how you described it earlier. Against Vegas, they missed 20 tackles according to Next Gen Stats.
Oh, my God.
That led to 99 extra rushing yards for the Raiders, who, as we talked about numerous times, ran for 153 yards against Cleveland. They had been averaging 43 yards on the ground leading into that. They had 2 wide receivers score rushing touchdowns. It's the first time that's happened in a game since 2009. And according to Pro Football Reference, the Browns ranked 15th in missed tackles this season.
Well, 15th is not terrible, but
it's average.
The last week is.
They were top 3 before this game.
Oh. So they had been tackling well until this week.
You can't run reverses on Tecmo Bowl.
They ran a tight end jet sweep for a first down.
Yeah.
First of all, wait a minute, hold on now. Brock Bowers been running that jet sweep since Georgia.
And I've been complaining about that stupid jet sweep with Georgia. I'm like, you gonna let a tight end?
He like that.
He's a pretty athletic tight end.
But man, listen, I'm sorry. I still, as a defensive lineman, there are 2 things that they tell you. You are never to let tight ends get yards after the catch, And if the tight end is trying to block you or is running the football, that is a loss. The Browns, I'm not disrespecting Brock Bowers, but they let everybody do that.
That's true. They did.
They let Gardner Minshew run read options up the field. They do a bad job. Our defensive line, and I don't know who coaches them up, they do a bad job of retracing their steps. Obo Ankaranko ran down the line. Like he was just running up the field, and you're creating a gap. You got to squeeze that down. We got defensive ends that are just jetting up the field. And guess what? Guys are using that against you. They're running around you, running underneath you, running draw. It's nasty work, bro.
Next, Mike.
All right, this is the Jaden Daniels stats, and it's a culmination of some of the craziest Jaden Daniels stats I was able to pull off the internet over the last couple of days. He has been incredible. The numbers are crazy. Through 4 games in his career as a starting quarterback, he's led 23 scoring drives. He's thrown 19 incompletions. Think about that. He has 4 more scoring drives than he does incompletions. He has the highest completion percentage in NFL history. Through 4 games, 82.1%. Tom Brady was second. That was the almost undefeated 2007 season at 79.2%. He's thrown over 85% completion percentage in the last 2 games, first quarterback ever to go back-to-back games with 85% completion percentage. In their last 3 games, Washington has punted a grand total of once. And, Bull, how about this? In 4 career starts, Jaden Daniel has 2 games where he has scored on every possession minus kneel downs. 2 out of 4. Brady, Breeze, Manning, and Mahomes combined to do that twice in their career in 1,094
That's
starts.
good stat. And it doesn't mean he's going to be the next great quarterback. He might be, he might not, but
I'm glad
he's played great so far.
I am so glad I took the road to dice and drafted him in my other fantasy league. It was the smartest thing.
I got him in 3 leagues.
I got him in 1. Only in 2 leagues.
You know, and I want everybody to take this and write it down so you don't look like G. Bush is just being emotional when I say it. If Jim Schwartz does not have his game plan together and they don't have rush lane integrity and guys don't rush and keep him inside the pocket, he gonna break the internet.
Yeah, I mean, he's like,
He gonna break the
he
internet.
has the athletic ability. He's as good. I mean, he's as good as Lamar. Maybe not quite Lamar, but
he's not.
But anybody else, right?
What he's gonna break they will run read option on you.
Yeah.
They will run
which we struggle with.
Speed option, reverses, jet motion, and just getting out of the pocket extending. If you don't keep him in the pocket, and when I complain about this on Sunday at this post-game show, do not tell me I'm emotional. I told you on Thursday. They should be working on it right now in Berea. He's going to break the internet. He's going to have almost 100 yards. And in the red zone, he gonna make you look silly.
Did he break the record for most yards in the first 4 games?
Oh, Daniels?
Yeah.
No. And he only has 3 touchdown passes. He has 4 rushing touchdowns, 3 touchdown passes.
Although that's unfair because Lamar Jackson technically played in a number of games before he started. Like they would bring him in a couple of times with Flacco.
That boy, he ain't Lamar Jackson, but he right up underneath him.
Yeah.
Bro. He
gonna break the internet.
Man,
I'm telling you,
broke the internet.
All right, Mike, that's it, right?
Yeah, by the way, Dak Prescott in his first that's 4 games. Never, that's not first 4 games.
Yeah. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Let's move on.
Let's talk a little guards, guys. It is time after a quick word from our good friends at Game Time. If you want to get a ticket to a Guardians playoff game, you can get a great deal if you use the promo code we have from the Game Time app. And Game Time has a new feature right now called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite teams' live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Plus, you get priority curation, which makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. And their all-in pricing shows you the final cost, not the cost before the fees and the taxes, which always is a bummer when you see that at the end. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's Game Time.
There'll be an episode of the Ultimate Guardian Show tomorrow at 9 a.m. with a more in-depth preview with Zach and I for the start of the series against the Tigers, who swept Houston. We'll get to that in a second. We'll also have the Guardians play Saturday at 1. So we're going to do a post-game. I'm going to be doing 2 post-game shows after every Guardians playoff game. As soon as the game ends, every Guardians playoff game, as soon as it ends, I will be doing a podcast courtesy of Bet Rivers Live. And then a couple of hours later, after Zach has done his writing, been down to the locker room to talk to the players, he'll then join me, and we'll do an Ultimate Cleveland Guardians show after every game. Once we get deeper into the playoffs and they play night games, we'll probably do it the next morning, the second one. But at least for these first 2 games, because they're day games, we'll do it a few hours later. So there you go. Now, to watch these first 2 games, you have to. It's going to be. I think they're on TNT or Max. One of them's on, or True TV.
Yeah, TBS, True TV, or Max.
So keep in mind, if you're somebody obviously some people use DirecTV, some people have cable, some people use YouTube TV. Mm-hmm. I use Fubo for my regular channels, Fubo TV. The only thing that Fubo does not have is the Turner package, TNT, TBS also. So if you use Fubo, and a lot of people that are Guardians fans have Fubo because you can't watch the Guardians during the regular season on YouTube TV. You can with cable, or I think some cable network.
Fubo got Bally's?
Fubo has Bally's.
Fubo
has Bally's.
Fubo has been dead for years.
Fubo has Bally's, but does not have the TNT package. So if you have Fubo and you want to watch the Guardians game, you got to either have to switch or make sure you have Max. Because on Max, you can watch TNT and TBS.
So you got Max.
That's what I have.
Hold on. What do you mean Max? I ain't never heard of
HBO Max.
HBO Max. They rebranded, now they're just Max.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you have HBO Max, or Max is not called, you're fine.
I think
you can watch it there.
On YouTube TV, I think they got Turner, though.
If you have YouTube TV, you can watch it that way
but
as
he
well.
got Fubo.
But I got Fubo. I don't have YouTube TV.
I used to have both of them, but then it got expensive.
You have Fubo and YouTube TV?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Because my dad wanted to watch the games.
So that's why you had Fubo.
But
you had YouTube TV to get Sunday ticket. There you go.
I got Direct TV, the AT&T Direct TV stream thing, eVerse.
So anyway, that's how you watch the games. The Guardians and Tigers will play Game 1 on Saturday. We know Tanner Bybee will pitch for the Guardians. The Tigers will do what they've been doing for the last month, and that is go with a bullpen game, which they do every game now, except for when Tarek Skubal pitches. Skubal will pitch Game 2 and then probably Game 5 if there is one. So obviously, if you're the Guardians, you want to try to take care of business in 4 games and not let it get to that 5th game. It's going to start with that first game. Now, Tarek Skubal's a great pitcher, and the Tigers are the hottest team in baseball. There's no denying that. They've got the best record in baseball in the last 2 months. I still believe the Guardians will win this series. I think they'll win it 4. I feel very good about their chances. I understand the Tigers have some momentum, and that's going to make people antsy, and Tigers are a big story. They're going to get a lot of hype right now, and it's going to piss everybody off. It is what it is. And the Tigers did a great job. They were down yesterday. The Astros, they came back, and Andy Ibanez, who's had 1 RBI since the start of September, had a 3-run double against Josh Hader in a tie game in the 8th. Big-time clutch at bat. But I still like the Guardians' chances. The bottom line is, to me, they're the better team. The only edge the Tigers have is they've got a better number 1 starters because Skubal's better than Bieber. Outside of that, the rotations is an edge to the Guardians, believe it or not. I mean, neither one has a great rotation. Tigers' pen's been great. Guardians' pen is better. Tigers top of the lineup. Guardians better. Guardians better defensively. Both teams are excellent running the bases. They're similar style teams, but the Guardians are better. That doesn't always mean you're going to win.
I guess the biggest concern is how did the layoff, because they got rained out their last game.
And they've been off.
Yeah, so how are they after being off for a week?
That's the big question.
People are concerned because of the All-Star break and how that was. They came out very flat in there. Listen, the Tigers do scare me a little bit because, Skubal is unbelievable. Obviously, I'm mad that you are going to be right. He ain't officially won the side yet.
No, but he's going to.
Yeah, I'm mad about that, but whatever. And I had seen a stat that said that Tanner Bybee is 1-3 versus them.
Yeah, I don't
this season.
But what is his ERA? I mean,
I didn't see all that.
Man.
they haven't played each other since July, and the Tigers were a different team then. So, Guardians did win the season series 7-6.
We got Big Christmas, so we good.
Man,
Go ahead.
I don't. This series
It make you nervous, don't it?
slightly because they got the way the Guardians play is they just anybody that they put in the lineup they expect to deliver. They're going to be doing some righty lefty type things in a batting order, and that means guys aren't going to get consistent at bats. I want
The Tigers do that too, though.
I know, like
Yeah.
I just me personally, I don't be feeling good about it because it's like I want my guys to be getting consistent at bats. So like even if they not seeing the ball well in the beginning of the series, they still got their level of at bats to work themselves out so they can be seeing the ball better at the end of the series. And given the fact that they're going to be throwing a bunch of pitchers, right? So you're never going to be up there getting a good look at one guy more than one time.
That's true.
So and then you're going to be rotating guys in based on righty and lefty. So when every at bat then means it counts, right? You know those bats. You asking those guys to go up there with limited reps, limited experience in terms of seeing these guys play. So that for me tells me I need my big guys. This should be a Josh Naylor series. This should be a Josh.
No.
If
Whatchamacallit owe me 7 more home runs. So Big Christmas. He gonna get them all.
Well, he'll get a chance to play
he'll get some.
because he's going to face lefties, and Scooble's going to start 2 games, so he'll start those games. The Tigers have a lot of lefties in their pen. They have this Tyler Holton, Will Vest, who closed the game yesterday. They got a lot of interesting arms, but they are going to go like the Guardians in a lot of ways with a lot of different pitchers because Tarek Skubal pitched the first 6 innings against the Astros, and then their last 12 innings against the Astros, the final 3 of that first game, and all 9 innings yesterday, no pitcher went more than an inning and 2/3. So as you said, you're not facing outside of Skubal.
Inning and 2/3.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They was doing it like that.
That's right.
That's how they gonna play.
You're right. Now you'll face a guy 2 days in a row.
Right.
But if you're a Guardians hitter outside of Skubal, you're not going to face the same pitcher 2 times in a row in a game. It's unlikely. There might be like 1 or 2 batters where that happens. A guy faces 10 batters, maybe. But for the most part, outside of Skubal, you're not going to face any. And outside of Bybee, that might end up being the same thing with the Guardians, unless one of their other starters has a dominant effort.
And what is so for me?
Yeah.
I need to lean on your best players. Hey, Jose, you a switch hitter? Guess what? You gonna see you up there every way. You gonna be righty lefty. We need this series to be about Jose got us that 3-run home run to start this thing off, and it was downhill. Josh Naylor hit a bomb. More than anything, the Guardians are a team, and it's weird to say this about momentum and things. The Guardians always seem to bring that energy level. Right? They always seem to have that encompassed on the road or at home. Use that home crowd to your advantage, and because the pitchers are going to vibe off that. Can you imagine getting off to a 3-0 lead, 2-0 lead, and now you home, you got the towels waving. I know y'all. Right. Hey, Curtis. I know you got a promotion. I know you giving out towels, and they're gonna be white, they're gonna be red. What we doing? Hey, and by the way, you have something that you could be doing. I would have every game. I'm a marketing guy. Every game, I would have somebody up there. I don't know who it is. I got to have a drum line or something up there. We got to bring back old boy.
Yeah, that's true.
That was one of the biggest advantages home court. I'm like, well, you do. You know how nerve-wracking that is? You know how intimidating that is? Bring that back.
You do need to drum back.
Bring the playoff drums. You ain't got to do it the regular season.
Yeah.
You can even market it. You know what time it is. It's the playoffs.
It's important to get off to a good start. Yeah, I think the Guardians got to win game 1 because I don't want to be going into game 2 with Skubal pitching down 0-1. You got to win game 1, take care of business. I think they will. I feel really good about it. But, yeah, I get why people are nervous because the Tigers are the hottest team in baseball.
If they get that win, they're gonna make the Browns look easy. Like if they win, we ain't even gonna be pressed like that if the Browns. We're not even pressed like that.
Oh yes, we are.
Nah, listen.
The Browns go 1-4.
Hey,
oh
listen,
man, burn the town.
For that day on Saturday, it's early enough. You
What
get
time
a
is that
dub.
when that?
Yeah.
You gonna watch a little college football. You might eat something. Man,
108.
man, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's right before the Buckeyes come
That's
on at
beautiful.
3:30.
Look, listen. I'm downstairs in the cave tomorrow. They gonna get this win. We need that win.
They got to take care of business. Again, we don't know who's starting for the Tigers. I don't know that it really matters because they're just going to use a bunch of guys. And it'll be interesting to see, and the Guardians will probably announce this sometime tomorrow, what the makeup is, like who's getting these last few spots. It's a 5-game series. Usually during the regular season, you'll go 13 hitters, 13 pitchers. I wonder if they go with a 14th hitter and use only 12 pitchers. I think they might do that to have an extra pinch running option, an extra pinch hitting option. And if so, who is that? Do you bring Tyler Freeman back? Well, actually, right now the Guardians are at 28 because you play September with 28. So they got to take 2 guys off the roster. And they have had 14 and 14. But I wonder if they'll just take 2 pitchers off.
Who do you think they'll drop?
What's that?
Who do you think they'll drop?
From the pitching staff? Well, it's really
How are you going to get from 28 to 26?
yeah. Let me bring the active
We
roster.
got a sec
up.
because our next guest isn't here yet. So we're,
Okay, let me just bring it up in front of me so I'm looking at it actively. They're going to have to find 3 spots because Alex.
He just popped on, so make it quick, Bull.
All right, yeah. So they'll have to find 3 spots because Alex Cobb, I assume, is going to pitch in this series. So if that's the case, you'll have to find 3 guys to bump off the roster.
Angel Martinez.
So I don't think it's going to be any hitters.
None?
Here's who I think is going to be off the roster. Eli Morgan.
Okay.
I think he'll be gone. I think Cantillo. I think they'll leave Cantillo off. I think they'll leave Morgan off. And then the last guy out, I'm going to say is Nick Sandlin because he's pitched pretty poorly. I'll say those are the 3 guys out.
We got about 2 minutes where we're going to bring in our next guest, Bull. But let's go across the board real quick. Confidence level.
Yeah.
The Guardians can beat the Tigers in a 5-game series and move on to the ALCS.
Oh, they can win.
Or they will. Sorry, not that they can, that they
8.
will.
Can, 10, will, 8. I'll say 8. I feel 8 out of 10.
Can, 10, will, 7.
Man, I'm going to go at 8.5. Will. Give me the 8.5.
There you go.
You playing these
8.5.
Hey, you see them in the division. Let's not act like they're world beaters. They got 1 pitcher. I don't care about their sticks.
I hear you.
And we got home field.
The only concern is that they're sizzling hot. That's it.
That's
all.
That's it. And they're a young team.
Yeah,
they're feeling themselves.
If they hadn't had the past month that they have, I'd say we win.
Right. Well, then they wouldn't have been in the playoffs. But
boom, it'd be easy.
Yeah, that's the only reason. It's not. You look at that team on paper; they're not impressive outside of Scooble. Nobody else on that team is that good. Their best hitter is Riley Green. Like, he's a nice player. He's a young player. He's going to get better, but he's not great at this point. But none of the hitters are great.
I do think that they have a distinct advantage because their ballpark is not a hitter's ballpark. Like if they get to December.
Yeah.
Or not December. But, I mean, it might as well World Series, October, wherever they do it. Man, it's cold as heck in Detroit, and the balls is not flying out of there.
It's not cold here?
Guess up there.
But this is hitter's ballpark.
This year.
I mean, in Detroit, they got in the alleys, they in there 400 something.
Yeah, but that's it. In terms of playing the Guardians, I mean, the Guardians bullpen, it's going to be hard to take it. I just think the Guardians ultimately, even though the Tigers pen has done a good job, I think the Guardians bullpen is much better than the Tigers bullpen, and that will ultimately be the difference in this series. Mm-hmm. Close games late, big favor to the Guardians, and neither team has a huge offense, and so I think that's going to be advantage Guardians. Go ahead, Mike.
We're going to bring in our next guest. Quick reminder that if you want Cavs coverage, we haven't done a ton of Cavs. They are at IMG for training camp. We'll get to it when the Guardians are not in the playoffs. The Browns are a little further into the season, and the Cavs are a little more on the forefront. But we do have interviews, one-on-one exclusives with Kenny Atkinson, Tristan Thompson, and Kobe Altman on our YouTube page. You can check that out from Media Day right now. And with that, We are thrilled to welcome in Lake Lewis Jr. He covers the Commanders, and he's here to give us some insight on this Sunday's game. Lake, how you doing today?
I'm good, fellas. I appreciate you having me on. I'm actually out here at practice right before we start, so you got to excuse the swatting of the bugs, but it's a lot of gnats out here.
Yeah. Hey, Lake, I have a good friend who's a Washington fan, and the guy's been miserable basically for 20 years. I mean, the franchise has been so awful, and now he's losing his mind for Jaden Daniels. I mean, the fans of the Washington Commanders, they got to be going crazy. Similar to us, they've seen a lot of terrible quarterback play for many years.
Yeah, I mean, and you're exactly correct. I mean, I keep trying to tell people, I think this is the first franchise quarterback that this franchise has had in modern football. Yeah. They've had some pretty good quarterbacks. Joe Theismann did win an MVP one year, won a Super Bowl. Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl. Doug Williams, who's beloved here, won a Super Bowl. But none of those guys were franchise quarterbacks. And I think this is the first time Washington's seeing it. So I think fans are still getting used to not feeling like their eyes are deceiving them or if it's a mirage, but it's real.
Lake, when I look at the secondary for the Commanders, to me, it's not a lot of guys that, pop out. How have you think that secondary has done this year, and what do you think they do against the Browns?
That's a good point. The secondary has been, one of the units that's slow to come around. They did play really well against Arizona, kind of held Kyler Murray in check, especially in the second half. But I think a lot of that is also because they weren't getting a pass rush in the first, two games. Even in the third game, it wasn't necessarily there. But then they started to do it against Arizona. And I think when you see that in any NFL team, when you get a pass rush and you make a quarterback uncomfortable, you'll see the athletes in the back end of your defense be able to make plays on the ball and look better than maybe what their skill set has been showing over the first three games. So I think that's what we saw last week against the Cardinals.
By the way, leave it to the cornerback. Like, we're talking about this great young quarterback.
This guy goes
and leave it to the cornerback to switch gears to the corner.
He just skipped
wait a minute.
all the way over the top.
What is this? This is a passing league, isn't it?
No, not no more.
Yes, it is.
It will be again. It will be again.
But Lake, I'm gonna take it back to the quarterback. We just had a segment talking about Jaden Daniels, and I told him, listen, the Browns defense has been traditionally good this year. They've fallen off a little bit. If they do not keep contained, if they do not stay in their rush lanes, this kid I know it's Lamar Jackson, but when it comes to his legs and ability to extend plays and still keep his eyes downfield and hit guys, he's right up underneath him right there. What does he offer, and what is the threat that he brings to the table with just his ability to run and still be able to throw the ball as well?
But I think that's a great point as well. You look at the fact that you guys have history with Lamar, and so Jaden's going to be very similar as far as running ability. But the thing that separates him, I think, even from Lamar, especially at this point in his career, is that he's an efficient and excellent pocket passer, and I think the narrative of him being a running quarterback is false. He's a pocket passing quarterback that has an electrifying run style as well. And it might be something that we've never really witnessed across the league. I mean, we've seen guys either have one or the other. So I think for Cleveland, you're going to need Myles Garrett. You're going to need everybody to be all hands on deck as far as putting pressure on this guy. The problem is that if you do collapse the pocket, he has the ability to escape and make plays with his legs. But more importantly, guys, now he's trusting his receivers. Now he's trusting, Terry McLaurin to big plays for them. And then, of course, Zach Ertz underneath could kind of alleviate the pressure that I'm sure Cleveland's going to be trying to dial up.
Let's talk about the backfield here, because I know Brian Robinson has gotten off to a good start, but I know he's banged up. I think he missed practice. Correct me if I'm wrong. Austin Eckler got the concussion against the Bengals. And then completely out of left field, Jeremy McNichols, welcome back to the NFL. He played pretty well last week. So what's the status of Washington's backfield right now?
I think they're going to be okay. I mean, they're a little banged up because they've been getting the ball quite a bit. I mean, when you're third in the NFL in rushing yards, I mean, that tells you that there's a consistent effort to rush the ball, and I think that takes pressure off your rookie quarterback. So I think they're going to be fine. Listen, man, these guys have been away from home for 2 weeks. They're going to be coming back to a raucous new Northwest Stadium. these fans here are rabid. There's no way that these guys don't play on Sunday.
Right.
Like, when you look at the Browns, what bothers you? What scares you for Sunday when you think about the Commanders playing the Browns?
You know, listen, Cleveland was a team that I said in the offseason was my dark horse team to watch out for in the AFC. And everyone was talking about Baltimore and the Texans, you know, could they compete with Kansas City? And I'm like, listen, there's a team up there in Ohio that I think is actually going to be pretty good. And I thought Deshaun Watson would have a bounce back year. So what scares me about Cleveland is they haven't played their best football. They just haven't. I mean, they looked terrible against Dallas in week 1. They followed that up with a win. And then last week didn't look good at all. So it's like, you know, which team shows up. And sometimes, as you guys know, when you get away, when you get on the road, sometimes your mind just, you know, is kind of free in order to just not have to deal with, you know, family and home, being at home, just being uncomfortable kind of makes you focus a little bit more. So I expect Cleveland to come in here and play an A game. But I would say more importantly, it's no surprise that Washington has been poor against the run, and all of a sudden Nick Chubb is out there just practicing this week. So I don't think that was by you know, a lack of coincidence. Of course it was. Does he play? That's a whole nother story. But I do think that, you know, when you think of your running backs, Jerome Ford and guys, I mean, they can run the football, and I think they're going to have to, because if they try to come in here and make this a shootout, they will lose the football game. I don't have a problem saying that. They're not going to stop Washington's offense. Washington's offense will put up some points. That's just the way they're trending now. So for Cleveland, I think they have to make a concerted effort to run the ball, and they're capable of doing that. And Washington has shown that sometimes they struggle against the run. So that would be the one factor I'm concerned about.
Lake, we appreciate the time, man. Good luck this weekend. Not too much luck, but we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Sorry, apologize about the bugs out here.
Good.
Get it. Thanks. That's going to be a tough game this weekend in Washington, no doubt about it. Mikey, we have some breaking news on the Browns.
We do, and it's not good, guys.
No.
Alex Wright just announced on Instagram he will miss the remainder of the season with a tricep injury. He just sent this out from Alex Wright. Quote, after the Jacksonville game, I got an MRI on my tricep because I was dealing with pain from a strain in the same spot during joint practice versus the Vikings. Somehow, it became a freak accident because I didn't even use my right arm on the play. So after finding out about it, I still battled through the pain and all. Fast forward, I got my last MRI checkup, and it has progressed to worse than a partial tear. So now surgery is taking place, which leads me to missing the rest of the season. Anyone who knows me knows I love football to death, but 91 is going to be all right for sure. Everything happens for a reason. It's in God's plan. 91's coming back with a mean-ass vengeance. I promise you, I stamped that. So, Bull, that was your breakout guy. Obviously, he won't get to 11 sacks. We'll miss the remainder of the season. We talked about Isaiah McGuire earlier playing a bigger role. Well, that opens it up for him. But
even though he's had some bad penalties, he's had his moments. So
it's
that's obviously
loss.
not good. Also, Nick Chubb speaking, or just finished speaking, a couple comments that I've seen. He was asked when he'll be out there. He said, whenever I feel great, I'll be out there. Browns' Nick Chubb on whether he'll be the same Pro Bowl player. I guess we'll all find out at the same time. Nick Chubb talked. This I can't. Let's see. There was one more I wanted to read. Felt good to be out there with the guys. The knee felt good. Felt like a dream to be back. Great to get all of that off my shoulders and finally get back out there. Ken Dorsey, I think, was asked about whether or not Nick Chubb would play this week, right? You have that clip?
Very, very nonchalant answer. Nothing to tell.
They're not giving any answers.
Yeah.
So
but back to Alex Wright real quick.
Yeah.
Because that is, he was one of the guys who was playing a good bit. G. Bush, I know you had gotten on him for some silly penalties this year, but this entire defensive line outside of Myles Garrett has underperformed, and that's another guy now who at least was in the rotation. The Browns are going to have to figure out how to get some pressure on Jaden Daniels without.
Yeah, I think it's more than one guy who has to step up. You know, Alex Wright was a guy who was a rotation piece, and he came up with the big play. And think about it, he's a younger player. Let's be clear. He's a younger player. Younger players are going to make those certain levels of mistakes. So, but he made a big play against Jacksonville, made some big plays down the stretch last year. So, you know, definitely this is going to hurt a little bit because when you got Myles Garrett, who is banged up a little bit, one of the top subs that you're going to bring in is Alex Wright. So one thing that I'm looking forward to is you now have to go to these other guys and say, look, man, we're gonna need you to step up. Zadarius Smith has to be a bigger impact player. He has to. He can't be just a guy. You need to see more. You want to see more for McGuire. You want to see more from some of these other young guys. Obo Akaranko, feel free to show up.
Yeah, he's done nothing.
Obo, feel free to be an impact player because, man, like, you know, that's the mandate. If the Browns want to get back to where they got to go, people have to start viewing themselves and holding themselves personally accountable for production. I mean, you look at those sack leaders. You don't see what's the name on there. Where's Obo at?
Yeah, got any?
Well,
he's tied for one. He's technically, if you can extend it.
Tyvis, so with right out, obviously their D-line was not playing well to begin with. How big a concern? Big concern, small, not a concern?
Oh, it's a big concern because, I mean, he was a guy that I thought, although he might have not had the sack numbers, I thought he was really good in the run game as far as putting the stop sign up. I mean, you got other guys that you're going to depend on that you were dependent on, but I think that, obviously, we were talking about Isaiah McGuire. He will get some more snaps by default in this one. I also think that D-line, the pass rush side will come back. We'll see a glimpse of it this week, but I think it'll really come back next week because they'll get Mike Hall back.
All right. Are you guys let's go from that to Chubb. I mentioned some of the quotes from Chubb. Are you guys reading into anything Chubb said or anything that, you know, Ken Dorsey said basically like, oh, we haven't gotten into how much we're going to use him yet. Like, they're being very cagey about it. Read anything into it or?
No, you can't really take too much from it. Chubb is a man of very few words. I like the fact that he said, I get a load off of my shoulders. I'm back out here with the guys. Yeah. The knee feels good. Like, anytime you can go out and trust me, like when you have ACL surgery, the first thing you're thinking about is, can I cut? Can I move? It's going to fall apart. And when you cut and you move and it feel good and it don't swell up and it don't fall apart, you're excited because you're like, I'm actually, I can do this. I can do this. I ain't going to die.
And gut feeling, will Nick Chubb play this week?
No.
I don't think so.
I agree with you guys. I think we could definitely see him next week.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
A couple other things from a variety. So a bunch of players spoke today. Ken Dorsey spoke today. Some of these quotes from Zach Jackson, The Athletic. Amari Cooper was asked about the trade rumors. He said, I'm not aware of it. Usually if I don't have a good game, I try to stay off social media. That's the one thing I've learned. I can be kind of sensitive about it. I like that I appreciate the honesty.
Listen,
everybody looks. I don't know why they like everybody.
And now I'm coming back to the Jared Judy comment. I'm going back to think about it. Shout out to, you know what?
For his honesty? Giving him love now?
I'm giving him credit for your honesty. Like, everybody be in the interview, be like, what's something that you could work on? Like, they ask you that question, like, and are you going to give them the BS answer?
Well, I mean, once Mary Kay gave the background on, like, I didn't know he was not in practice. Like, I didn't know he was missing practice. Like, of course you're going to be winning in the game.
All right, we're giving him a pass. We're going to officially give him
I didn't know that part. That changed everything.
Even if you shouldn't say certain things.
Hey, we officially, I'm giving him the fair catch. I'm going to give him a fair catch.
I'm going
to give him a fair catch.
Full pad. Zach Jackson says the Browns are in full pads today.
Mm-hmm. They need to be.
Looks like Ethan Posick will be back at practice after sitting out yesterday. Myles Garrett didn't practice yesterday. No updates on him. But obviously he hasn't practiced much the last few weeks.
Myles Garrett should not practice the rest of the year.
No, that's true. And neither should Nick Chubb. He's practicing now because he feels like he needs it. But.
And can we where in the world is Jedrick Wills?
Where in the world is Jedrick Wills?
Hold on. This is even weirder. We keep asking about Jed Wills. Jack Conklin has been a full participant in practice for like 6 weeks now.
I thought he had a hamstring.
Well, but I'm saying he came back and actually was practicing before we were talking about could Jack Conklin play week 1?
And now he's like off the radar again.
Yeah, and the thing is, they could have put him on IR to start the season or the PUP list or whatever it is and had those 2 roster spots. They expected those guys to be ready, and that was a miscalculation by Andrew Berry.
Nah, you know what it is? He might be ready. He might just not be good.
That too.
Like he might be physically fine, but not good no more. They like, dang, this is what you get. This is what this is.
That's not good.
This is what we got.
All right, Bo, I got some super chats. We got a game we're going to finish up the show with.
I was trying to see if there was anything else, but go ahead.
Super chats first, and then we're going to finish the game so we can take it right to the end of the show. First super chat comes from Pee-wee's Burnt Pizza, who says, a Guards vs. Tigers series guarantees an AL Central team makes the ALCS.
That is true.
3 of the 4 teams in the American League playoffs are from the AL
Kudos to the
Central.
Royals and Tigers both winning.
Maybe the White Sox weren't that bad. They were just in a juggernaut division.
No, the White Sox weren't that bad.
No, I know.
The Padres won their series yesterday, and Mets-Brewers the only one that went to a Game 3 tonight. Brewers came back late.
Who you got?
Next up.
I got the Brewers.
Me too.
You got the Brewers. Next up, NP Barlow says, is it possible Andrew Barry and Stefanski only signed 1 or 2 year extensions? We were never actually told the terms. Maybe they aren't as safe as we assume.
I want to know that too.
Listen, the biggest conspiracy theory in the entire world is this. The fact that there is no wages placed on coach contracts. There's no years. They say multi-years.
I thought it was public record.
It ain't public record. You can't find that. I challenge anybody to get me. We can find Deshaun Watson's contract, but we can't find Stefanski's. Can we get that?
The Browns, let me tell you something. The Browns fire Kevin Stefanski. They're just the same stupid organization they've already been. Talking about taking away play calling so he can focus more on clock management because things are a little crazy without Bill Callahan this year is a completely different story than talking about firing the guy.
Yeah,
the thought of firing the guy
He's
is
not.
that's absurd.
He's not. And this is
this
the Duke of knee-jerk.
You don't do Browns post-game radio.
Yes, we do.
People are emotional and reactive.
I hear.
Yeah, I know. All the time they want to fire. Yeah.
All right, last super chat. NP Barlow also says, do we miss AVP in the building? Remember when Albert Beer reported he was the glue guy that kept the offense together?
Nope.
The team was floored about his firing.
Nope. Not really. I don't even know what he did. Kevin Stefanski don't even look. I don't know if you sign a deal as an offensive coordinator. What is your job description? Nobody can tell me that either.
In general, or for the Browns?
If under Kevin Stefanski, if you are hired as offensive coordinator, what do you do?
I'm sure the majority of an offensive coordinator's job is not play calling. That's only a small part of it. Even for the ones that call play.
Suggest what?
Run
meetings.
That may be the most important. But you're preparing the game plan the whole week.
You preparing the game plan, and usually sometimes the coordinators is the quarterback coach, right?
Yeah.
Is it Ken Dorsey the quarterback's coach here?
I think so.
He is.
All right, Mike, we got a game to play?
We're going to play a game, yeah.
Why don't we just go past 1, do no overtime today, and keep the game going?
Well, if he does, we can. But we got a song we got to play in overtime for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to play the game. It's quick. We've done some research, and Tyvis, I'm glad you asked about the Commanders secondary. Because when we were making our stat and preview information, I was going through the depth chart. And I'll be honest, a lot of no-name guys in this Washington secondary. So we're going to play a game of, is this player really on the Commanders, or did I make up a name out of thin air?
Okay.
Are you guys ready to play real or fake Washington Commanders defensive back
Let's
edition?
do it.
Steve, hit the music. You just say it out loud. I'll ask you guys on 3 to give your answers.
I know
no
one person in their secondary.
First up is Benjamin St. Just, a real player.
Oh, that's real.
That's real, and Mike mispronounced his name.
Yeah, that's correct.
He's real.
He's a real.
It is juiced.
Yeah.
I went back and forth.
I'm gonna say he's a real one.
Okay, Steve, you ready for number 2?
Yeah, where you at?
You're right.
That's
Jeremy Chin.
That's real.
That's real.
He used to
Real?
play for the Panthers.
Yeah.
2 for 2. He is real.
Who put these together?
Well, I can't make up.
These are everyday
they're
names.
real
Shocked
names.
that I've recognized both names.
All right, Steve, ready for number 3? Quan Martin.
That's fake.
Nah.
I never heard of the guy.
I only know one Quan.
This is what Mike did here, right? He knew he was going to give us the first 2 that were real. And he's like, okay, the third one, they're going to be leaning towards fake because the first 2 have been real. But, so now to make them think it's real, I mean,
There's only 2 Quans.
Quan, he's like
Rich Homie Quan and Quan Crosby.
let me give the name Quan. That sounds like a guy who could be playing.
I'm going
defensive
fake
back.
because I've never heard of him.
Never heard
Go
of
ahead,
Quan.
go ahead, Mike.
Quan Martin is real.
Oh! I should have known. I should have known. I should have known that you would think we would think it's fake.
Quan Martin is their starting
listen to myself.
free safety.
Yeah.
The starting
Never
free
heard
safety
of
for
it.
the Commanders.
That's
All right.
not,
Where he from?
Quan Martin. What's up, Herbie? Nothing. Quan Martin played at Illinois, second-round pick last
Second
season.
round.
I never
He
heard
sound
of
like
that guy.
a pit bull dude. Hey,
By
man,
the way,
I'm gonna holler at Quan to get this little.
Speaking
blue
of
nose.
names, have you guys seen this sketch? I don't even know where it's from. I saw this sketch recently.
Jordan and Key and Peele.
I don't think it was Key and
Yeah,
Peele.
all the crazy names.
No, the crazy names with Key and Peele. I've seen that. There's been a million of those. Yes, I've seen it. I saw this other sketch. I gotta find it and send it to you guys. But there's this sketch where this white couple has a baby, and they're in the hospital. The nurse is black, and the nurse is like, "So, what are we naming the baby?" And it's a really white couple, like really white looking.
Oh, I see.
And and I think I don't know if it's the husband or wife goes, "We're going to name him DeBrickashaw." Or
Brickashaw
And the-
Johnson.
the nurse is like, "What? What?" It's a whole thing. It's really funny.
I love to see that.
Yeah, I gotta find where I don't even remember where that's from, but it was one of the funniest
It
things
was
I've
good.
ever seen.
All right, you guys ready for the
Go
next
ahead.
one? Real or fake? Shaq Armstrong.
Fake.
That's made up.
Now, Shaq
Shaq
Armstrong.
Thompson is a real player.
Like Shaq Armstrong is wild. Like that sound like Shaq Armstrong is a mechanic in the hood.
Yeah.
Hey Shaq. Hey, I'm
Shaq Armstrong
Yeah, I'm gonna
is
take
a
this.
mechanic.
Who was good at street ball.
Yeah. I'm going down. Take this.
That's
down
fake.
there.
There's no way you did 4 reels in a row.
Take that down.
No,
there
that
to
is
Shaq.
fake. You got
Shaq
me.
Armstrong.
I combined some names of other people on the team into some of these
Okay.
fakes. All right, next one. Noah.
Oh, that's real.
Oh, he's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's real.
Okay, he's a former first-round pick.
Yeah.
I also couldn't pronounce his last name properly. I tried like 6 times pre-show. Got it different every time, so that gave it away. All right, number 6. Tyler Jean-Baptiste.
That's fake.
That's fake.
There used to be
It is. I'm about to say this. I know the other one.
Good use of the Jean Baptiste.
The
there,
Jean
Mike.
Baptiste. Though.
I love the Jean Baptiste.
That's the NCAA 14
That is
name.
a classic one right there.
G. Bush, I got that from a guy I recruited in. This is a
Told
fake guy.
you.
He was recruited.
Jean Baptiste is an NCAA character.
The problem is
They love it.
The problem is with that is that Tyler is like a white name, isn't it?
Tyler the Creator.
Huh?
Tyler the Creator.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who
You know
Tyler the Creator is?
Did you guys just meet me today?
He's a rapper.
Like,
You
dude,
know I don't know the new rappers.
I mean, but he's like
Been a while for like.
He's 2010.
If he's been around any later than Run DMC, he's off my radar.
He's wild.
This
He's a wild guy.
Talk this way.
Wild guy.
Go ahead.
2 more.
Yeah.
Leon O'Neal.
Leon O'Neal.
I would say fake. 'cause
That's so crazy. It could be real.
It could be, but I'm gonna say fake.
Hey, shout out to a dude named Leon Campbell. I used to play basketball with him, man. He used to play for Timken. Timken no longer is cool, but Leon Campbell.
It's only one Leon I've ever
That's
known
fake.
and played,
Spinks?
and it's Leon Hall. He went to the Wolverines. He was with
Oh
me.
yeah, Leon. He was a good corner.
Yeah, he was with me in San
didn't
Francisco.
Didn't he play for the Bengals?
Who?
Leon Hall.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, he did.
Leon Hall.
Yeah,
played
he was a
for the
first round pick.
Yeah, he was a cornerback.
No, Leon
Yes.
Hall.
Leon
Leon
Hall.
Hall.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a
What's
very
wrong
good
with
player
you?
for the
I
Bengals.
played with him in San Francisco.
He was there forever.
Yeah, he was like their best
Doesn't
corner.
even sound familiar to me.
That's
Isn't that
crazy. Like from like
It
2010,
feels like it's the wrong first name.
Like 2010 to like 2015.
Leon Hall with the Bengals made a second-team All-Pro.
Right. Leon
In
Hall.
How did I
2009.
forget Leon Hall?
I'm
I'm a fake
scared.
fan.
Bro,
I
I'm
got a fake fan
scared.
alert.
You don't forget nothing.
I know.
And then you forgot a Bengals first rounder.
I gotta look at him.
Leon Hall.
That's
Who remembers the 7th-string catcher on
remember-
the Mariners AA team? But
I
can't
remember
he
he was-
All-Pro cornerback.
Leon Hall was the first man I ever seen
Oh my
shave
God!
his head.
How did I forget Leon Hall?
You better not be getting dementia. You better not.
Now that I
We
see,
forbid you.
yeah, now that I see his face, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Leon Hall.
and this
The name sounded wrong to me.
So Leon O'Neal, real or fake?
Leon
Fake.
O'Neal is fake.
Tyvis?
Fake.
Shout out to the actor Leon.
Leon O'Neal is fake, but he was a real player. He just retired 10 years ago. And last
Did he
one.
play for Washington?
No, he played for the Panthers.
Okay.
Last one.
Oh,
Derek
that's
Forrest.
100% real. That's a safety.
real. Tyvis is so confident I'm going real with him on that.
100%. He plays.
And-
You don't mind. Don't be a follower.
And,
You a follower.
and by the
When
way,
have you ever been a follower?
100%
and
real.
by the way, I don't think that you as a white person would have spelled Derek with the A.
He's the only safety I knew on their team.
That's right.
As a white person, you
Derek
might have
is
been
real.
DERICK.
Mike played a lot of basketball,
He
though.
does. He plays a lot of hoop with a lot of mobile quarterbacks.
I got clocked yesterday. He was real. Yeah, Derek was real. All right, you guys did pretty good. You got 7 of the 8.
There you go.
Now the cheating one is the baseball dudes. That's cheating.
I stand no chance.
Did I get them all right the time we did that or no?
Like you only missed like 2. Like matter of fact, you might have not even missed one.
I think you did get them
Baseball
all right. You may have missed 1.
Yeah. We can do that again sometime if you want.
We can't.
Pause.
I like that.
We should do hockey.
It's the way he said it.
The
tone
was high.
Yeah, there was a little sexual tone to that.
That was
see
like
that
crazy.
true.
I'm like, you
can
gotta
do
talk
that
to your
again
wife
if
about
you
that. You gotta talk to her.
All right, overtime. Some guy's
viewer.
a fan of the show.
Yeah, send us in a
A Brown
custom-made
song.
Brown song.
It's not
Rock.
really good. I mean, it's good. It's not good in terms of it doesn't make you feel good about the Browns.
I'm like, dang,
It's a good
boo.
song.
Yeah.
We're going to play it overtime.
It's next.
All right.
See you then.
I'm like, dang, boo.